Hey folks, Jesus is coming soon. Folks, I made this video last night and I decided to delete it and redo it. Let the Lord give me the right words, because I think it was a little too harsh. Now, I opened my Bible yesterday and my grandmother's obituary card fell out. And I just had a flashback of something when that happened, and I wanted to share it. I'm sitting here looking at it right now, and y'all, I gotta tell you, she went to church buildings as soon as the doors opened. Didn't matter when it was, Sunday, Wednesday, sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Friday. It didn't matter. She was always there, always smiling to people, and she put on a good show. I don't mean this to slander. I promise you there's a point to it. But my grandmother was so cruel to me as a child. Super cruel. Granted, I had ADHD and I was just a hyper kid. My biggest problem as a child was I loved too much. You know, I guess it was somewhat her also, and a lot more other people that go to church buildings, that pushed me away from Jesus growing up. Because I sat and I looked, and I was like, this is how people act that go to those buildings? I don't want to be like that. Am I going to act like that? Because I don't want that. And I never wanted Jesus growing up because of that. And then I told y'all about that story when I was 14 and I went to a concert, and there were these supposed Christians standing on the corner after the heavy metal concert, and they were screaming at everybody that walked out of there, telling them that they were going to go to hell no matter what they did, all this other stuff. And then some man came up to me and he was hollering in my face, telling me that I was trash and I was going to go to hell, I was going to burn forever. Never once told me how to be saved or nothing. He just was telling me that. And the only person that took up for me wasn't a Christian, was a biker gang. I still remember that guy. He was like 6'6". I was 14. And he came out of nowhere and got behind me and told that guy, if you got a problem with him, you got a problem with me. If you got a problem with me, you got a problem with all of us. And it was a whole biker gang just sitting right there, which pushed me in the wrong crowd. But I mean, that man had me almost in tears, the things he was saying to me. And he was supposed to be a Christian, but I was somewhat used to it. Like I said, growing up, my grandma hated me, y'all. Hated me as a kid. She would say the meanest stuff to me, and I was just a kid, just a hyper. I had lots and lots of energy. You know, it was always sit down and shut up, and you're a hellion. I can't wait to tell your daddy what you did. My goodness, I mean, it's worse than that. I'm not here to slander. Now, in my 20s, I can't say 20s because she died when I was 24. 23, almost 24, like 2 months before I turned 24. But I got kind of close to her. She was no longer mean to me. I forgave her, talked to her on the phone all the time. She lived an hour and 30 minutes away from me at that point. But growing up, she lived 2 blocks from me. I'd always go over there to see her, and it was like, oh, the mistake is here. You know, it's just how she put it off as. But as I got older, me and her got close. She made jokes to me, I made jokes to her, and I found out that, hey, maybe I got my personality from her, the funny side, because she was actually pretty funny when you got to know her. But she didn't open up to me when I was a kid. She was just mean. Mean. But now that I look back, y'all, a huge majority of people in those church buildings are just like my grandma was to me. They are to their family or to other neighbors or whatever the case may be. They go to those church buildings, they put on this good show, this good front. Then when they get home, back to their evil ways. They always say the same line in those buildings. 99% of those preachers, and I've been to a lot of those buildings. People always said the same thing to me. Well, my church building's not like that. And I'd go. Sure enough, it was just like I said it was. I guess they've been going so long they can't see it. It's truly sad, y'all. But those preachers all say the same thing. This is the Lord's house. This is the Lord's house. Oh, the Lord is in here, in this building. Hold on a minute. Think about this as you look around in there. The Lord's not in this building. I'll tell you where the Lord is, right here. And this is Acts 7, verses 48 to 50. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, saith the prophet, as saith the prophet. Heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith the Lord? Or what is the place of my rest? Hath not my hand made all these things? He ain't in those buildings. It's right here. It's supposed to be right here. In every true believer. It's why Jesus says you'll know them by their fruits. Now, putting on that big front and that show that they put on at those buildings and they come home, that's where their true fruits are. They're rotten. Now this here, I live in the South, so technically they call it the Bible Belt, where truthfully, true believers are very scarce, spread out, rare to find. You'll find a lot of them that attend those buildings, but they act just like I said before. They put on a front, but that in those buildings is not how they really are. They love everybody while they're in those church buildings, but as soon as they get home, they hate their neighbors, they hate their family, they hate this and they hate that. And it goes back to that saying that my daddy used to say. If you have a problem in life, look at yourself, because 99% of the problem is you. And I truthfully don't know why the Lord has me speaking on this so much. I'm guessing for a warning to other people. But I'm like, Lord, ain't nobody listening. But Jonah said the same thing. And Nineveh listened. Nineveh repented. As a whole, God spared Nineveh. Jonah was saying the same thing I'm saying. They ain't listening. They're stuck in their ways with their rotten fruits and mistreating people and being fake around other so-called believers. Back to their old evil ways when they leave. Who knows? It may hit that one person, and then it'd be worth it. That one person, 2 people, 3 people, doesn't matter. I'm just doing what I'm told. I mean, church, we're supposed to bring people to Christ, not push them away from Christ, you know? And that's what I'm trying to point at. There's a lot of, more so than not, of these people who I was just speaking on. They're just fake. 100% fake. They never mention Jesus to people. They go to these buildings religiously. They come back and they're mean. And they just push people away from the Lord instead of bringing them to... It's dangerous, y'all. And my goodness, I love you enough to come and tell you, to come and warn you about it. And whether you listen or not, or you bash me or not, don't get mad at me. Take it up with the Lord. Again, I'm just doing what I'm told. You know, come back 3 times from death. certain death. When your heart stops, that's pretty much death, but not technically dead. I don't know how to explain it. When people say near death to me, it's like, well, my heart was still beating, but, I was in and out. No, my heart completely stopped 3 times since 2002, 2018, and 2019. And this last time, 2019, I can't get that out of my head. All the things that I heard, and that child telling me to wake up 3 times, and the peace and the joy that I felt there, and I can't. Man, it was beautiful, y'all. I just wish that I can put it into words, because there's nothing here that can even remotely come close to how to describe what I felt and heard and everything else when my heart stopped the last time. And I just want you all to feel the same thing. When this is all said and done, I want you to feel that too. I don't want any of you to feel and see what I saw and felt the first time in 2002, which was hell. I don't want that for anybody. And not even any of you who hate me without cause, who have made me an enemy for no reason. I don't want that for you. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that movie, Heaven is for Real. We watched it last night, and there was a specific woman who I guess was a board member of that church building, and she was so bitter and kept saying, "Oh, this is fairy tale, blah blah blah." Well, why do you attend a church if you don't, But that woman reminded me of so many so-called believers that attend those buildings. That's one of 10 reasons. I can write them all down. One of 10 reasons why I do not attend church buildings. And I do not feel led to go back to ever again. Scripture is very clear. Where 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I am amongst them. Where 2 or more are gathered. My wife and I gather and we read Scripture. We talk with the Lord. That's enough. I don't need those buildings. You don't either. Jesus is coming so very soon, folks. I mean, look around. I see more people today out in public, no matter where you go, Walmart, wherever. People are like zombies. They just stare at this phone and they walk into stuff. It's really funny, but it's not. When you see they're just walking into a shelf or something because they're looking at their phone. But it's just like, put the phone down and look around. Look around you. Open your eyes. Look. You might see something that you've never seen before, or you haven't seen in a very long time because of the phone, the distractions. I'm telling y'all, Jesus is coming. Romans 10:9-13. I love all of you. I truly do. That's why I'm here. God bless.